Child, I ain't never got so tired of crying in all my life. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Love and Hip Hop New York. This is season 10, episode 7. All this crying. It was, child, Safari. Child, you are just an emotional bag of bones. Poor little thing. Anyway, we start off. We got Safari and Yandy. He stops at Yandy's house. His whole energy was off. He's like pissed. He's still pissed from the bachelor and bachelorette party, and he didn't go home. He hadn't went home or anything the night before. I think he stayed over his mother's, and he was questioning the whole engagement and whether or not he wanted to go through with the wedding or any of that. And Yandy wasn't sitting around playing no games with him. She told him, your attitude is wrong. This is not. If you think that it's going to be, you know, a bed of roses all the time and y'all are always going to be happy, then baby, you are sadly mistaken. This is not what this is about. It's about workarounds and growing while you're working around your differences and things of that nature. He wasn't hearing it. His attitude was just wrong. It was just his head was in the wrong space. He ended up walking out and leaving. I'm like, oh God, Safari. That's before he started all the crying. He was just pissed. But I can see how he got there because Erica is extra. Erica is really extra, and she just went so far, at that bachelorette party that it was just ridiculous. She just pushed him to a point where it was like, listen, happens. Then you got Erica over to talking to Remy, and Remy's telling her, you need to pull back and chill out. Like, you need to chill out or figure out, are you really ready to lose your whole future about rich dollars? See, that's the thing with Remy. Remy just give it to you cold and hard. Period. She didn't put no candy with it, no cotton candy, no nothing. You ready to lose everything behind rich dollars? And Erica got it. She's like, oh, yeah, no. A mess. So then we actually see Kimbella and Juelz actually talking on the phone. And she was questioning him about releasing some of his music that is actually sitting and having help from his brother twin to help to get things going and get it together to go ahead and release this music. And at first I thought he was going to be like, no, what I mean, you know how artists are about their stuff, and I understand it. I definitely understand. Nobody can do what you do like you. So I understand that. But he didn't. Surprisingly enough, because again, he's been gone. I can imagine that money is an issue, because there's nothing coming in. They living off of what they got. You know what I mean? So he was like on board with it. So I said, well, that's good. That's a good thing. So listen, then we make our way down to this whole little thing with the wedding. Because this episode didn't really, it was like a wedding special for the most part. It was like a wedding special. Listen, I love my Safari. I really do. I love Safari. But you look ridiculous pulling up to the wedding on that little miniature bike in a fur. Baby, the fur was bigger than the bike. Like, it just looked ridiculous. And Safari is really tall. Like, he's really tall. He looked ridiculous on that little bike. Like, if you don't get you a whole motorcycle and quit your playing, cute bike, but it would be cute for Ray J. It ain't cute for you. He looked ridiculous sitting on that bike with that fur on. I was like, Lord have mercy. And the whole thing with me, the whole wedding was basically like a jewelry commercial. He gave her a bracelet, real pretty bracelet, that was her father's signature in diamonds on the bracelet, real cute. And it was like, oh yeah, you'll be able to walk down the aisle with your father with you. And then she sent him a rosary, with that encrusted in diamonds, that was his uncle that had actually been murdered. And it was like, okay, remember he gave her the watch, and then they both got the rings were beautiful. But it was like the whole wedding was a jewelry commercial, flat out. So listen, Joe Button was clean as hell. Do you hear me? His jacket was so damn bad. With the jacket was made to look like he had a leather holster on. With that jacket was bad as shit. I was like, "Oh Joe, y'all know how I feel about Joe Budden, child." But he was clean as hell. Tahiri and Jonathan, they all meet up out front. Tahiri, Jonathan, Yandy, and Joe. Jonathan came as Yandy's plus one. Tahiri and Jonathan got the nerve to be dressed like they came together, but they broke out and got to arguing. They both standing up there in midnight blue crushed velvet, like they came together arguing like hell. I said, "What?" And Joe told him, "Y'all both need to mind y'all fucking business." Because it was the whole thing with Tahiri and Joe and then Sin. And Joe told him, "Y'all need to mind y'all's business. Mind your business. You, Erica, Tahiri, all of y'all, mind y'all business." But what's going on with me and Sin? Period. Yandy is in complete white. Why? Why are you dressed in white? I don't that now that is something that I don't think will ever, styles come and go and they blow over and things change, like the whole you can't wear white after Labor Day thing, that 20 years ago. That mess went out. But nobody should be in white at a wedding but the bride. Period. I don't care what anybody says. No one should be in a white, especially not a white gown, at a wedding other than the bride. And Yandy looked real nice, but why are you wearing white at a wedding? I couldn't get with it. I couldn't get with it at all. Then I look, wait, the wedding get ready to start. Carly Red and Sierra from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they were actually there. But they ain't on the guest list. So they couldn't get in to have a seat during the wedding. They had to sit in the hallway. They sit in the hallway, and Sierra was being extra. Oh, she was being extra. And listen, Carly Red know about being an extra and just sitting down and shutting up. She wasn't trying to make no scene and embarrass herself. She acted like she had some sense. Sierra was doing the whole most. The whole most. I said, "You wouldn't be at the wedding uninvited, would you?" And she's like, "We were supposed to be on the thing, this, that, and the other." But when it was all over with and Erica seen them, I think it was just a slip up. It was a slip up because then she was so happy to see them, because nobody fooled with Erica. She was just happy. But it was just, the whole thing was more crying than anything else. Crying, crying, crying. Oh, that Safari cried so much till he got on my nerves. And Erica been crying since we started, but she pregnant, so she got an excuse. But Safari cried and cried. He cried about the rosary. He cried about not knowing what he wanted to do. He cried, child, just cry, 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 cry. I said, "Oh, Safari, I can't with all this crying." But it was a beautiful wedding, red and white, all those roses. There was roses everywhere. And he said, his sister, the roses was expensive. He said, "I bet they were." Then we seen Jimmy. Jimmy finally done made it. He's in New York. Chrissy's in New York. We had a scene with them two together. He gonna read her down about her pajamas. Her pajamas. Said, "You should have came down the steps in a negligee." She was like, "I don't think so." She said, "These are comfy and don't even try it." And here it is. He got a weed business that he's doing in LA. So Chrissy and Jim, I guess they're doing all right. They seem to be fine. So it was cool. Then we had this scene with Juju, Chrissy, and Kimbella. And Kimbella was just getting ready to start into the whole thing about like how nobody has reached out to Juelz since he's been in jail. I mean, come on, this is the rules. That's one thing about Love and Hip Hop New York that I said this last season in my reviews. Everybody from New York act like they ain't did nothing wrong. Like the ones that go to jail, Mendices has that attitude, and Juelz has that attitude. Like the law did something to them, and they ain't got no business in jail. Excuse me, hello, hello. You're in jail because you did something wrong. Period. And you got caught. Now, shit, cut it out. But I noticed that when it comes to New York, everybody in jail feel like the law done did something wrong to them. But anyway, Kimbella, listen, when you go to jail, boo, the streets keep on moving, and they move on without you. That is the rules. That's the rules of engagement. The streets keep on going, and don't nobody be thinking about you, and don't nobody be holding you down. Only your girl. Generally, don't nobody pay you no that. Don't. Ask Remy. She'll tell you. Nobody holding her ass down but Papoose. She was the way nobody think about her ass. That's just the way it goes. But before she could even get it out, they were talking, and she was saying, there's people that were going to do features on the music with them for Juelz and get the projects going. They had 3 projects that they were getting going, so everything was looking right. And Jim agreed to be on. Chris is like, of course Jim will do a feature on there with you or whatever. And before she could even get it out, Chrissy handed her an envelope, and the envelope actually had money from Jim for Juelz. So that was really, really nice. I was like, that's cool. She couldn't even get it out of her mouth. But just remember, Kimbella, the rules of engagement is when you get popped, the streets go on without you, sweetie. It's just the way it is. They make the rules. That's just the way it goes. Anyway, that's about all. I told you I was really just like a wedding special and a whole bunch of crying. It was all right. I'll be glad we get back on track next week. Okay?